In the context of the night, Leeds leapfrog Leigh into third with a win. Leigh would move within a point of second place Wigan if they were victorious. Wigan, of course, have a match against Castleford this weekend. And those two, Leigh and Wigan, meet in the Battle of the Borough next week as well. Boy, could that be tasty. But so could this. So looking forward to this one tonight. Leeds with early possession and an early chance to set a platform here if they can. O'Connor waiting at dummy half, and Leeds will come galloping forward, offering the challenge early to those oncoming Leigh defenders. And just simply a case of muscle and might and mentality in these opening few minutes just to set a platform. Panacea, the latest. O'Connor looking to that left-hand side. Little skip and a jump for Jenkins, the returning Cooper Jenkins. He has been playing in the reserves, so he should still be game ready and match fit. The end of all that, it's a kick downfield, and Leigh will get their first touch on the ball in the shape of Darnell McIntosh.
Well, and the first set was a really direct set from the Leeds Rhinos, wasn't it? Brad Arthur's words ringing in their ears: dictate, do not be dictated to.
Well, it is thunderous at the moment, isn't it? There is plenty in the collision just at the moment, as Leigh try to settle the ship and bring it forward through Frankie Holton and Ipape at dummy half, and just a dragging of bodies, just a hitting forward is quick and as hard as they can. Off at Hengawi, the ladies of those. Ipape goes to Lachlan Lamb, offering it back on the inside, and Robbie Mulhern, who's wearing a skull cap tonight, uncharacteristically for him. And Lachlan there with a kick away in the end, and Miller's underneath it, and there's a bit of fizz in the air whenever he has the ball. They're quickly rounded up by a very good chase from those Leigh defenders. Yeah,
they're going to have to do a really good job on locking Miller this evening, I think. He showed last week, even in defeat against St Helens, just how dangerous he is returning the football in terms of tackle bust, and more than anybody else in Super League.
Ryan Hall still turning back the years as he is the latest to bring it in. Alechki again now. Nobody is missing in these opening stages. It's Panacea, who's up to and beyond the halfway line. One play to go. O'Connor will skip it back to his near namesake Connor, who sticks it up in the air. This is a betwixt and between, and Ryan Hall making a real nuisance of himself there and doing terrifically well. McIntosh is caught. There's a threat of him being carried out of play, but the referee had already said tackle completed. So Leigh start from here again. A really difficult position they find themselves at the moment. Well, we talk about Ryan Hall and his presence, everlasting presence, it seems, on the field. A great England star as well down at the years. We're talking in a build-up as well about Bolters. And Jenna Brooks down on the sidelines. You have news of the latest inclusion in that England squad for the Ashes series.
Yeah, I certainly do, Dave. Evening pre-match, we of course heard Brian and the boys talking about Owen Trout, Harry Newman playing for England at season's end. Well, huge news for St Helens. Harry Robinson, I believe he will be included in Sean Wayne's extended Ashes squad, which I understand will be released in the coming days. Of course, Harry Robinson outstanding last week against Leeds Rhinos. He was player of the match in that game.
No surprise, I don't think. Well, a surprise that he's announced, but, you know, anybody's been watching him this last 12 months or so.
Yeah, absolutely. Prodigious talent. I think he'll go really well. First mistake then, Leigh have blinked first. Keenan Brand with the error, Leeds' first opportunity.
And here comes Connor. O'Connor down that left-hand side, taken on by Handley, who runs into that posse of defenders who are looking for the touchline, and very close to it as well. Handley in the end just about staying in the field of play. Leigh using quite a lot of energy to get that position, but they have to go back for some more now as Cooper Jenkins offloads and O'Connor runs it in, and now it comes left for Brodie Croft to step, and he has stepped, but Holton was there to receive him. and stop him in his tracks. Connor now will put the little kick in. Beautifully judged. Chased superbly from Callum Watkins. Watkins dives into touchdown. The referee's got a conversation, but it merely confirms his initial thoughts. Callum Watkins with the opening try of the game with barely 5 minutes played.
Well, they started like an absolute house on fire. We knew they had a point to prove. They were returning to AMT Headingley after being smacked at St Helens. I'll tell you what, it takes some courage to kick on the second tackle. You'll have Brad Arthur scrutinising every move, Jake Connor, but you just cannot keep a good player down, can you? It was the right call, the kick weight was perfect, and who better on career appearance 401, Callum Watkins, the guy we were talking about pre-game, the evergreen Leeds Rhino, gets the opening score.
Second try since his return to the blue and amber. But what a creative influence Jake Connor proved to be.
I'll tell you, I actually thought they'd made a mistake when they shifted to the right. Brodie Croft hit a lead line and there were players out the back, and you're going, oh, is this going to be another tale of Leeds Rhinos missing opportunities? Well, that man, I mean, the vision that he has, and not just that, the conviction, willingness to take a chance, roll the dice on play 2, and it's come up trumps for him. Brilliant start, Rhinos.
Saw around the build-up, by the way, and the guys on the touchline in the studio. A special guest at half-time, you might have seen that to Nico, so all those whose memories stretch back to those glory days of Castleford and Leeds when Tawana Nico was playing. Stand by for that, it will be fascinating. And anybody who missed Brian's Keenan and Cal naughties reference, there'll be more of those, I'm sure. There might be more of those tonight as well, as Connor sticks it over and Leeds lead by 6 points to 0.
Yeah, really high energy start for the Leeds Rhinos, and the kick was perfect, wasn't it? He'd seen David Armstrong sleeping around the H's, play 2. Probably Armstrong wasn't expecting someone to kick through on the second tackle, but Callum Watkins was in sync with his half-back partner, and Jake Connor takes his try-assist tally now to 18, and 8 from kicks as well. I mean, he's really mixing it up.
Well, Leeds did the double over Leigh last year, and we remember that night at Headingley when, of course, they came to celebrate the life of Rob Burrow, and Leeds followed that up, the team, with perhaps their best performance of the year, and it was one of those special Headingley nights. The way they started at the moment, Leigh might sense they're in a bit of trouble here. They need to step up quickly because Leeds have got the mood on them again. There's to Nico, by the way. What a life story he's got. Some highs and some big lows as well. He'll be on the podcast as well, the Bench podcast with Jenna and John in a couple of weeks. But he will be joining us at half-time as well. Here's McDonnell.
Move! O'Neill Lackland! Hold.
This is Jared O'Connor.
Quicker front kick.
Aledzki.
5. Move! Don't go early now. Don't shoot.
Jared O'Connor stands and waits again. Collects from the heels, puts it right to Brodie Croft, who lifts it up in the air, end over end. Armstrong knows there is a cavalry coming his way, so takes to the ground when he catches the ball, and Leigh starting from that difficult position, 10 from their own line.
Yeah, they've been consistent with that, haven't they? They've completed every set so far. This is where they've ended up. They're putting Leigh in a corner.
There's a real intensity to this at the moment from Leeds' defence, so Leigh need something a little special. That offload on that occasion from Donald McIntosh just opens things a little. Armstrong up a dummy half. Here's Brand. Edwin Pape having a look around, seeing what's available. Decides to come left to Mulhern, and the ball over the top is a good one, and here's McIntosh in place to collect. Looks on the inside with a kick. Pape in prime position, can't reel it in, and it's the try scorer who turns try saver in Callum Watkins to plunge on the danger.
Oh, so nearly bounced up for Edwin Pape. He just needed the ball to kick up, didn't he? It kicked away from him and into the hands of Callum Watkins, who covered a massive amount of ground there to get back and clean up for the Rhinos. Brilliant passage of play.
It is living up to expectations thus far. Very nearly 9 minutes gone. You can see that Leeds 13 times have scored from kicks this season, but they have conceded a number as well. 1 play to go for Leeds. Leigh have done a job here in this set defensively, restricting Leeds' movement forward, though they're trying to change that around if they can. But McDonald's been caught with the ball, tries the offloading, Pape's in there, and here comes Tessie New, and New's trying to run rings around those desperate Leeds defenders. Newman back, helping out with defence. Ryan Hall underneath it as well, but what a starting position this is from Leigh's point of view. There's the offload, there's the intercept, here's the position that it's led to. New bowling it away, Lambach on the inside, Ipape directing traffic in the shape of Isaac Liu back on the inside. Cry of hell from the referee, 3 plays to go. Leigh are getting closer. Lachlan Lamb out to O'Brien, and quickly again it's with Handley. But he's dealt with. Beaten to the drum from the south stand, who enjoyed that defensive effort, but there's more to come now because Isaac Liu with a big carry throws off a couple of defenders and somehow, improbably, maybe impossibly, has found his way to the line. Leeds falling off him, and Liu takes advantage, and Leigh with a very quick response.
That's some finish from Isaac Liu. Just the power and the strength to ride the tackle first, and then you take a look at the replay. Some brilliant footwork here to evade the clutches of Lockie Miller. I mean, this for a start, he's up against McDonald, one of the Super League's top tacklers, shrugs off that, and then just the subtlest of steps, just jams down on that left foot, takes him the other side of Lockie Miller. Lockie Miller thinks he's got him sized up just there. Brilliant footwork. And it's clear that he's grounded the ball. That's a repulse, that's a response from the Leigh Leopards. And Adrian Lamb is incredibly pleased with what he's seen on the field.
I think that's only his second try of the season, but good news, bad news from Leigh's point of view, because they got the ball, the points back, but David Armstrong, as you can see, is in big trouble there. He's already got that limb heavily bandaged.
Yeah,
and he's in a bad way.
Yeah, I think it was in the act of passing, wasn't it? There was a shovel pass on. It was cleaned up eventually on that tackle by a good read from Alfie Edgill, but we'll be having to keep a close eye on this. Gareth O'Brien.
40th goal of the season, brings it all square at 6 points apiece. Well, he's up on his feet, is David Armstrong, but moving as freely as you would hope. Does that go down in the category as non-contact? And if so, well, look at him. He's tweaked some job back in position.
Well, he's clearly tweaked something. There's been a knee injury, a leg injury that's hobbled David Armstrong at times this season. Bailey Hodgson has been that deputy, that get-out-of-jail card for the Leigh Leopards. He's only the 18th man this evening, so they have limited themselves in that regard. Which, you know, from a Leigh's perspective, let's hope he can run this one off.
Well, Armstrong has disappeared to the left touchline, the left wing position at the moment, just to try and hopefully nurse this problem back to correction. In the meantime, Leigh are back in possession. 6 apiece. Sparkling opening to the game. Pape out a dummy half. O'Brien helps it on, and here's Mulhern.
Nice and quick, boys.
Pape again stands and just waits. The cry for a forward pass. Referee's not willing to give that. Van Gowie gets up, plays it back. It comes to O'Brien again, just chipping for the corner. It's not a 40-20, but it is a very good kick because it puts Lockie Miller in a very difficult position. And Leeds have to start 10 from their own line and not that far in from the touchline as well.
Yeah, no, it's a good set, good kick. Good end to a set after points. I'm keeping a close eye on David Armstrong. I'd be amazed if he sees this game out. I really would. He's struggling. It's a game based around speed, isn't it, for Armstrong? And he's really struggling.
Yeah, he's standing on the left wing at the moment. And Donald McIntosh has gone to full back. Jack Hughes is on the bench, so he offers that potential of reshuffling the 3 quarters, doesn't he? That's the way they want to go. Just a big throttle kick down the middle. Brown looking to bring it back with a little interest here. Oh, Well met by Brodie Croft.
He came up with one of those last week as well against St Helens, didn't he? Good defensive work from the half-back.
Saying who's the man you don't want to run against in this Leeds team. You wouldn't necessarily put him at number one, but that was bruising.
No, wouldn't have been at the top of your list, would he? But I think he's creeping up there.
Pepe travels alone and then finds Mulhern with a pass. Couple of plays to go for Leigh, who've weathered that early storm from Leeds, got themselves back in it and looking very well matched at the moment. Lamb with that very typical double pump down this left side. He just looked guiltily at the referee as cries of forward came baying from the south stand. If Pepe or Lamb's lost it, the ball's gone to ground as well. And it just offers an escape there for Harry Newman, who then gets the pass away to Lockie Miller, and Miller skipping over the despairing Isaac Liu. The only man in pursuit was Owen Trout, but Lockie Miller is over to score. A gift for Leeds, and they hit the lead again.
And it was just indecision, wasn't it? Edwin Apapi from dummy half to Lachlan Lamb. The pass wasn't great. I think Edwin Apapi in two minds. Lachlan Lamb had called a short side. It didn't work out. Harry Newman was very quick onto the scene, wasn't he? And this is special. You look at the options on the inside, and Lockie Miller, I mean, he's got absolute first-rate pace, particularly over the initial 20 or 30 metres. And he goes the length of the field. Look at where Lockie Miller comes from. Lockie Miller in his own 5. And it's that response. He covers fully 40 metres before he takes the ball, gets the afterburners on, outstrips Liu, and picks up Leeds' second score. I mean, the work from the fullback, just that anticipation. The top-line fullbacks do that. They can sense, they have a sixth sense about an opportunity. And he's covered 35, 40 metres on a promise there, an anticipation that Harry Newman is going to provide the ball.
And just underlining the problems that David Armstrong has at the moment, he was never in the frame there because of the injury, and he's getting more treatment as well in that in-goal area.
You know, you can't replace a knee with strapping. You can try, but it's on a game that's based around speed and evasive footwork, that's a real problem for Adrian Lamb. But let's focus on the try. I mean, the finish, that once he got into some space, it was brilliant from Lockie Miller, but where he came from, and just the anticipation from him was special.
Well, he's a firm favourite, isn't he? And this fellow is emerging as a real firm favourite of the head in the crowd as well. Not always in his career, but that's 2 out of 2.
He is now. Take a look at Lockie Miller, top of your screen, pink boots, and he's set off now. He's got his head down, and he doesn't even know what's coming, but he's prepared to make that effort and cover 35, 40 metres, and that is his reward. Leeds Rhinos' second try, a 6-point advantage, and he deserves that. He deserves to celebrate. He put himself in the frame. Brilliant work, Lockie Miller.
Only 4 he scored this season in all competitions, but take away from his potential try-scoring nature in every game he plays. Leeds back in possession and looking to find position again. Leigh needing another response. They've done it once very well so far in this game. It's Watkins angling. Just looking for a bump here again, trying to get themselves downfield.
I think he's acquitted himself really well since he joined this year. Jenkins. Oh, I think he's been unlucky to miss out actually recently.
Well, a couple of plays to go for Leeds. Looking to get beyond that halfway line on this next carry. They just about achieved that through Keenan Palacia's efforts, but they're going to have to kick here on the last. Out it comes to Brodie Croft, who puts it high. There was a chase there from Mulhern to try and put some pressure on, but underneath it is Darnell McIntosh, who's having to work hard, moving from full-back to wing this time to try and help his team out. Just having a look around for Armstrong. Is he still on the field?
Yeah,
Yes,
he's not touched the ball. He's not touched the ball since he got that injury. And, you know, the boys pitch side before the game made a point of those outside backs and the workload they were going to have to get through. Well, that workload's just gone up because this man at the moment is incapacitated.
This is a Hanley, a Myla Hanley. Andy Pape just slotting into position again. Step and a decent effort as well by McIntosh, and now it runs free, and now we'll get a test of how well it can run. Armstrong slings it back to the middle. Pape knocks on what I think was a forward pass, and suddenly the keys have been offered to Lockie Miller again. And can he unlock the door once more? Offa Hengawi makes sure he can't. Drags him down. He was running with a limp, but at least he was running there, David Armstrong. But Leeds are coming back with plenty of fire. McDonald put down. Croft. Edgell from that left-hand side.
And you can actually, you see, I think the legs actually hamper him in the motion of the action of making a pass as well.
This is Croft. Skipping across, tried to connect with Callum Watkins. It flicked off him, but it's safely into the hands of Ash Handley, and they can carry this on with some enjoyment here, Leeds. Handley dragged down inside the 10. Connor, a dummy half, back to O'Connor, slips it back for Watkins. Now it's slung across the line. A step back against the grain of defence by Harry Newman. He's seen a space in which to run, still stepping wonderfully. And now it comes back to Connor again. Connor with a no-look pass, handed out all the way to Edgell on that left-hand side as he got that down. There's not much of a celebration, I don't think. Well, the referee...
We have no try.
Says no try on the
Look
field.
at grounding, please, mate.
So let's have a look at this grounding, and let's hear from the video referee, Chris Kent.
Okay, so we have a live call of no try. Players in possession. It's a fair challenge. Where's the ball grounded? Okay, just take that back, please. Okay, so his feet are in the field of play, so we can clear that element to it. Is the ball grounded in the field of play? Have we got any other angle on that, please? Is that in the field of play, or is it on the line? This may help us. Okay, that's going to be no good. Have we got any other angle on this, please? If we could just take it back on that, just confirm that he maintains possession. Okay, run that back, please. Okay, we're just looking to confirm, does his hand come off the ball? And if it does, he would then have to catch hold or re-grip the ball. Okay, take it back a few more frames, please. Okay, at this point he's in possession. If we go slow at this point. Okay, his hand then comes off the ball, so then does he catch hold or re-grip? He gets his hand back to it, but that is not a catch, hold or re-grip. I'm happy, I've viewed the angles I need, I've made my decision.
Oh, that's a real tragedy for Alfie Edgell, is it, in a rugby league context? Because that would have been remarkable had he scored that. They're not going to like this. Listen for the boos. They think he might have got this, but he hasn't. There you go. But that was nearly miraculous.
And he's had to be really patient, Alfie Edgell. Riley Lund's been doing a fantastic job on that left wing. And it's just the attention from Keenan Brand, who manages to get off the tackle of Ash Hanley. And there's just a juggle. Like the rules stay, you've got to regain control. You've got to re-grip the ball if it comes loose. He's done everything else right. He just couldn't get a grip of that ball, and that's Brad Arthur's reaction.
I'd have given him that. But that doesn't matter, does it?
You've always been a generous soul, Dave.
It remains at 12-6. We nearly saw the laws of physics defied in the scoring of that try. But they weren't, as it happens. Frankie Holton brings it forward.
A let-off for Leigh, though. I mean, because they've been under some real pressure, haven't they? They didn't manage to complete the last set. They found themselves in all sorts of pressure very, very nearly conceding more points, and they got to settle the ship down quickly.
This is Pape looking for ground to be eaten up, and he does a decent job there at a dummy half, taking his side forward by 12 yards or so. Well, for Hengawi, picks up to Lachlan Lamb, who pops it back on the inside. Donald McIntosh seems to be appearing everywhere at the moment. One play to go, they shift it left. Lamb sticks it high. New is the best challenger, the ball's dropped. It's knocked on again by Frankie Holton, but a clear knock-on in the first instance from Lockie Miller. Rocks and diamonds tonight from Rocky Miller.
Too much time. He had too much time. If that's a thing, it is a thing. Too much time. He got up a little early, and the first indiscretion from the Leeds Rhinos fullback offers the Leigh Leopards a full set of 6 here. They're running towards their own fans. A big cohort of fans have come across the Pennines, and now they're going to see a Leigh Leopards riposte, a response from them again.
Hawkingster Rovers with an early lead against Wakefield, 6-0. Here, Leigh looking to level things up. Tessie New. Tom Davis, a try scorer, by the way, at Hockey, the winger. Back it comes for the carry of Mulhern. Takes bodies with him for an extra yard or so. Ipape, 3-4 to his left, but goes right. Off Hengawi with a bit of footwork and a sledge-like hit at that Leeds defence. They did well to hold on. He came like a rocket. Out it goes to O'Brien, misses out, quick hands. It's an opportunity now for Keenan Brand. And despite the efforts of Jake Connor, Brand dives over in the corner. Leigh have been punched, but have produced yet another counter-punch.
It's a brilliant finish from Keenan Brand, but I tell you what, there is a pass in here that is special. And Myler Hanley, the catch and pass, I mean, it's something else. That's the knock-on from Lockie Miller. That's not great hands. I tell you what is great hands. Some of the best I've seen this season. That is absolutely sensational. And it opens the corridor for Keenan Brand to finish. What about that for a catch and pass? Alfie Edgell was making an absolute beeline for him. It had to be in one motion. It had to be on trust. That is brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. And Keenan Brand in the clear, finishes in the corner. This is a dangerous team. Adrian Lamb's team are a dangerous team.
Well, he said in the build-up, didn't he, Adrian Lamb? There's a finals feel tonight. Well, there's a finals quality to this game at the moment.
Have you seen a better pass than that this season? I remember Max Jowett at Wakefield for Tom Johnstone a few rounds ago. That was special.
Gareth O'Brien, heavily scarred from previous collisions, came into the match with that look. I don't think he's going to be on the front cover of Vogue for a while. Stepping back, looking to level things up again. Takes his time, calm and collected. But the flags stay down. 12 points to 10. But Leigh are here. And they're never going to be far away.
You could watch this again and again. Alfie Edgell's done everything right, you know. He's given him no time. It's just that Myler Hanley didn't need any time. Catch, release, brilliant. Keenan Brand is in exactly the right place, and he had the pace to get on the outside of Jake Connor. Oh, this is a game, isn't it? This is a real game, Dave.
Lockie Miller gets us underway again. And Leigh looking to just bully their way forward again as far as they possibly can. Ipape collects. Fairly slow at the moment. Trout comes forward. Ipape's in there again. Mulhern is the one this time who wants the carry, but it goes behind him. Brian popping it into the hands of Isaac Liu. Ipape. And off he goes again. Off he goes again. He's like a spring, isn't he? Lurching forward. O'Brien from behind the 40, but I don't think he's going to get the touchline, but he's going to get decent distance. Lockie Miller's forced to collect. And back he comes. The defence is good. Tom Johnstone's got a responding try for Wakefield. 6-6. They're a side who are refusing to go away this season. Corey Hall had a try ruled out as well.
Leigh Leopard's lining up Leeds now. They put him in that corner, haven't they? Line speed's good, kick chase was good. This is a good set.
This is Croft. Forced him to try and run that ball as he had to grasp well in front of him to collect it in the first instance. They're making some progress. Connor left Watkins, but there's no room for Newman, for Hanley rather, to work there. Edgell springs it back. Connor sticks it up in the air. The makeshift fullback McIntosh comes forward again and finds himself 25 metres out from his own line when he goes down. So Leigh, in this pulsating game, looking to make moves again. This is Lamb. Holton.
That's a good carry. That's a really direct, honest carry from Frankie Holton.
Slid between a couple of defenders, didn't he? Pape's out there. Liu now will take it on again. Desperate to get the arms free in amongst it, I'm sure, but Leeds are guarding against that. And effectively so. Ipape. Off for Hengawe. Goes left to Mulhern. Last again. Lucky Miller's heart will be beating because he knows what's... Oh, he doesn't! He doesn't know what's coming because it's the other Lucky Lamb who puts it down. Fumbling it and giving Leeds easy position.
It wasn't the best ball, was it? It was dipping and out in front of him. I mean, you want A1 service on the fifth tackle, and it was a bit laboured, wasn't it, the pass from Edwin Ipape, and Lockie Lamb for the second time at the end of a set has put the ball down.
Well, the last time he did it, it was very costly, wasn't it? But not quite the concession of the score so far, but Leeds at least in possession. Palacia. Jared O'Connor waiting patiently again and switching it left to Connor, and here comes Watkins, just pushing off a couple of attempted defenders, finding man 3 and 4, an immovable object. Croft. Here's McDonald. Little tussle on the floor. Frankie Holton trying to get the ball off him, but he gets up and plays it. Cam Smith is on the field, and it goes to Connor again, and here comes Watkins with a little hop, skip and a jump. 1 to go for Leeds. In range of a Connor kick. That is very high. Nobody knew where it was coming. It's played on and Croft picks up, but the referees, I think, already said knock on. And I think Brodie Croft believed he was going to be a try scorer there.
Yeah, knock on Newman. Just couldn't take it cleanly, could he? He had all sorts of pressure from Tessier. I'm surprised they haven't kicked to Armstrong's wing, actually. I'm surprised Connor didn't stick that one across.
Yeah, he's still out there, if you're wondering, that little soap opera that's carrying on. Still standing on the left wing. Some early stats. Lee's completion rate is not as high as they'd want to be. Leeds is much better. Lamb. This is Liu. Oh, bounces into a couple, and again he's being destructive. Just like when he scored his try a little earlier. Off Hengawe, and then Lamb with a quick hands. McIntosh taken in and pulled down. But there's one play to go. Holton's quickly up there. O'Brien now will put the kick up in the air. Hangs it up there. Lockie Miller underneath it. Safe pair of hands this time. And just throws off the challenge of Owen Trout. And makes 10 metres he had no right to make.
Well, he had to take that
penalty.
Look, he had to do it, didn't he? He had to be decisive and own that catch. He got up. Timing is a lot better. That's a brilliant, that's a great, I don't argue on a big middle man. Makes the yards, and then it's the second effort, and this is characteristic as well of Lockie Lamb. Quick tap, no go for touch, take the meters.
He had acres to run into there when he took that tap. Leigh weren't ready for that, for sure. And it means that Leeds again are on the front foot here. It's Sonny on the field. Leap in the air from Holroyd. So I think they've used, oh no, they've not used Jack Sinfield yet. I was going to say, I think Leeds have used all their interchanges. Once ago, oh, and that's a great little searching run by O'Connor, who plays it quickly. It's picked up here by Lasoni, who moves it left. Connor now to Watkins, flick back in the inside. It got a Leigh hand on that, so it's back to Wark. Zero tackle. Leeds back in prime position. Leigh have to be brave here on their own line as Holroyd takes it in and refuses to stop when bodies hit him in motion. But he has to stop in the end. Weight of numbers. Oh, Lasoni, that
shot.
was well read by Pape. Got into his rib cage, but the ball's still alive. And Miller with the footwork and back inside for Croft. Defenders are appearing from all over the place. McIntosh finishing off the ambitions on that occasion. Owen Smith just about keeps a hold of it and has to straighten up. And it's straightening up. Scores a try. Cameron Smith should just have been another pair of hands in the line. And when those hands fumbled it, it suddenly opened up an opportunity he could not resist.
It's weird, isn't it, what an unintended kind of break in play, breaking momentum can do. They always say this from a bouncing ball. This is the set restart. It was an outstretched arm from Gareth O'Brien, a reaction from him, and Brodie Croft was the first man onto the scene to secure the Leeds Rhinos another set. You just look at what's... Just the defence just stops momentarily. They're watching the ball, they're expecting the knock-on. Cam Smith outreaches with a left arm, gets the mitt on it, secures the ball, and then walks in. Yeah, you just see that drop-off, don't you? Owen Trout gets caught moving sideways, and Cam Smith just back off that left foot. It's really well controlled to get that back in his possession. And then makes his way to the line. Scores underneath in the shadow of the eastern stand, and the Rhinos extend their lead.
Started on the bench tonight, but making an impression once he's got on the field. Cameron Smith. It's his fourth in total this year. Connor with a kick. Leigh getting their usual jibes from the South Stand. You're just a small town in Wigan. Or is it a bus stop in Wigan?
Just a bus stop. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Someone writes these somewhere, don't they? Someone comes up with these somewhere.
Well, they don't have a train station, Leigh, so bus stop will have to do. Connor with a kick, and over it goes. And it is 18 points to 10. Two-score lead with 7 minutes of the first half remaining.
And the goal kicking from Jake Connor, I still feel like that might be really significant, you know. I think everybody had pegged this as a really tight game, so going up in sixes at some point will really start to apply pressure to Adrian Lamb's Leigh side.
Well, it's a really vibrant atmosphere inside the ground, isn't it? It's been from the start. I think everybody coming in tonight was expecting a really good game here tonight. Really good competition between these two teams who've been doing relatively very well in the Super League so far this season. Ryan Hall with that initial carry.
Oh, Sam Lasoni is absolutely livid with Ryan Hall. He was literally on the back fence, winding up and expecting the pass, and the wingman's taking the carry himself, stolen his glory.
Here's O'Connor. Lasoni on an angle. There's to Aronicko. We'll be hearing from him. Reminder at half-time. What a player he was, by the way. So Aronicko. Part of that 94 Castleford team that won here at Headingley in a John Player Trophy. Was it Regal Trophy? Regal Trophy final, of course. Leeds are edging closer to where they want to be here. One play to go, though. Leigh desperate to get that ball back and get a score back before the Hooter says. That looked like a forward pass. Referee says play on. It's a leap here from Croft. Back on the inside again. Harry Newman's going to be stopped at source. The ball goes free. It's gone backwards and Leigh have it back.
Yeah, on balance, that's probably the right outcome, isn't it? Because there were a couple of questionable passes in that passage of play. And now they've got a penalty.
Well, they're lucky there because the play of the ball was horrendous, but the referee's seen an offside.
Yeah, it's well, take your pick. Interference to the ruck. I think it was an offside as well from the Leeds Rhinos, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was the interference that he's pinged in for.
Yeah, you've got to make an effort as a defending player to clear the ruck, and there's feet in there. Ash Hanley has relieved inadvertently the pressure on the Leigh Leopards.
Well, they're just desperate to get themselves to the other end of the field here, aren't they? Leigh. First meeting of the season between these two, and you consider that other teams have played each other 3 times already. Here's Lamb running into it. Just gives a kind of a unnatural feel to the league table because of the way the fixtures have gone thus far. Holton. Sipape marching in. Lachlan Lamb waits. Back to O'Brien, who has to be quick. There was a hand on that from Connor, so it'll be another set of 6 to go, and McIntosh making quick yards.
They might have to make a couple of adjustments here, Leigh, for the second half. The shape is brilliant. I think they're falling into shape really well in attack, but the Rhinos are really putting pressure on the edges. The edges are they're stepping out of the line like you've seen from Connor there and applying real pressure.
Jack Hughes up to the 20, but no further. Ipape. Lamb's a late runner towards this left-hand side, gets the kick, and Miller got a hand on that and then couldn't hold it, and so Leigh get another set of 6. A little bit of fortune there for the Leopards. It's going to be Mulhern who carries it again. There's the fortune. Ipape slinging it back. O'Brien puts it now to Lamb, and Lamb with a short pass. Leeds' defence remains robust. Ipape going blind, wants to smuggle himself over there, the Papua New Guinean, but can't do so. So they have to wait. Hanley eventually. O'Brien. Trout with a left-footed step. Just wedging himself in there again. Wants to play it quickly. Last play. Last play. Out it comes to Hughes. Now it's with Lamb. Lamb onto New. Tessie New just holds off Ryan Hall. Goes searching back for more in the middle. Gets the kick in. It ricochets off a Leeds leg. I think it's Ryan Hall who drops on it in the end. Leeds have it back very close to their own line.
Yeah, it's a messy end to the set from Leigh, but they're finishing in a decent place. They've got an opportunity now to really put the pressure on. They're probably going to have time for 1 more set, maybe 2 in possession. So these tackles now are really important.
They're trying to dislodge if they can. Force of impact from the Leigh defenders, and it's helped with a bit of a scruffy pass. You can see what's happening elsewhere. Corey Hall had actually put Wakefield ahead there, but Joe Burgess, returning winger for Hull KR tonight, has given them the lead. 12-10. 2 minutes to go here. He's certainly behind the 20 there, Jake Connor. But David Armstrong making sure that that doesn't turn into anything calamitous from his side's point of view, with a good ball here now for Tessie New. And Leigh will start the set inside their opponent's half. Leeds' defensive effort, huge, absolutely enormous. And Tessie New, one of the strongest players on the field, could not resist that route to the touchline.
Well, the Leeds Rhinos have done really well there, because I think they overcooked things to start with. I think they overchased on David Armstrong, thinking not for a second he was going to run it. He straightened it up, returned the ball on the outside to Tessie New. So the response there for the Rhinos was top draw. That was a danger for a second there.
Well, just over a minute left to play in this first half, and it's going to be Leeds, you'd think, who'd control what remains of it. Carted in by Holroyd. O'Connor in prime position again. Cam Smith to that left-hand side, little dummy show. But Ipape grabs him round the hips and stops him in progress. O'Connor again. Croft. Little step start, and off he goes, holding off defenders, skipping off more, puts it over the top. What a try this is. Harry Newman finishes, but Brodie Croft take a bow. Wonderful play. Leigh defenders left in his wake, and then unselfishly, with a ball over the top for a Newman finish.
Yeah, finished by Harry Newman, made by Brodie Croft. And that is a really significant try, perhaps, in the context of this game. 5 seconds before the half-time hooter, and the Leeds Rhinos extend their lead through a wonderful piece of attacking play. It had its foundations in some really sterling defensive work. And then look at Croft. The dummy, the fend, into the backfield, and then the choice of pass as well. He had a short ball option to McDonald. There was traffic, so he chose a passing lane over the top to Harry Newman. Great catch, good finish in the corner. That's a significant score at a significant time in the game for the Leeds Rhinos.
Is there a sweeter sound for a side who've scored a try than the hooter sounding in the background? That's how close it was. And they've suddenly pushed themselves into a 22-10 lead, and if Jake Connor can put this over, they go in at half-time with a 3-score lead, and the way they're playing, there's some task for Leigh in the second half.
Yeah, penny for Adrian Lamb's thoughts, but Brad Arthur's interview with Jenna pre-game, it was really telling, wasn't it? He was really forthright. He wanted his team to front load. He wanted them to get after it from the start, and he wanted them to dictate, not be dictated to. And I think they've done exactly that, haven't they?
He's pulling behind that.
So Connor tries to quieten the noises in his head here as he steps up with a kick that starts looking well. It's the post, bounces in. Well, it's your night, it's your night. And at the moment, it's very much Leeds' night. Connor's 4th success to add to Leeds' 4 tries. They are dominating. Leigh need a big reaction in the second half, because at half-time, it's Leeds 24, Leigh 10. Leeds are hoping it's more of the same. Leigh will be hoping it's something a little different, that they can turn the tide in this second half. And you would not put that against them, would you? You would not bet against Leigh turning this around here.
No, David, it's a side littered with talent, isn't it? I don't think we've seen them click yet this evening. I think there have been little flashes, haven't they? Don't forget there was a couple of ends of set where that man Lachlan Lamb put the ball down when opportunity knocked for them. But there's no doubt about it. I mean, look, they've got the talent there to really make a difference.
Just looking around here, it looks as though, well, for certain Ben McNamara is on. So I'm guessing that David Armstrong has gone off. There is Ben McNamara as we get this second half underway. Remember, David Armstrong in that first half trying to play with his leg heavily strapped up. I think John Wells said you can't replace a knee with strapping. Well, we got a little message off our good friend Sam Tompkins, who said, I beg to differ.
I had a bit of a chuckle with him at half-time. He did then follow that up with a sort of.
Well, that is his game gone. David Armstrong sitting along Josh Charnley, of course, not featuring in the 17 today, but heavily iced up.
In truth, it was a heroic effort to get to half-time, wasn't it? And I think that was, you know, he's taken one for the team there so as not to disrupt the rotation as much. But Ben McNamara is a very, very competent player in his own right.
Well, we'll have a look at this. Jack Hughes has gone to left centre, hasn't he? In that reshuffle of the 3 quarters, I think McIntosh might be dropping to full back, and Hughes has gone up to left centre. So where McNamara fits in this, we shall see, because that would make them a forward light, wouldn't it? Under those circumstances. John, you can work that out.
Well, it just goes to underline how brave David Armstrong's been to see it out till half-time, because you can see now the knock-on effect there, haven't you, of his absence.
It's Gareth O'Brien who's gone to full-back. So Lamb's partnered now by Sinfield. So that's the switch. But Leeds in prime position, leading as they do by these 24 points to 10. And here comes Lockie Miller flying through from a wonderful carry and pass. Cam Smith is hauled down But Jared O'Connor very much at the heart of that with that initial break and the help, and then the juggle. Oh, it's spilled. Donald's put it down. Leigh have it back, and that's a bit of an escape. They'll be mighty relieved.
Oh, you know, it's almost a shame, isn't it? Just as a neutral watching it, because it had all the hallmarks of a brilliant try. Lockie Miller again, coming from the ruck and into the backfield. It's just the last pass we're looking at here from Croft to McDonald, which didn't stick, but the break itself was, again, really top draw stuff. Great anticipation from Miller.
Here's Ipape looking on the inside. Owen Trout with a carry, one of the characters they were talking about in the build-up tonight. Brian John, JJB as well, looking at potential England bolters for that Ashes series at the end of the year. Oh, that's good from Hughes. Spinning it away out of the tackle. Just giving Leigh another point of attack here as Holton, really forceful, takes it in. Ipape, Lamb's just drifted to the left. It comes back to the middle, and Trout puts it back to McNamara. Into the gap. The attempt by O'Neill, who's also off the bench. McNamara with a little kick over the top. Hanley's taken it superbly well. What a pass away. What about that try? O'Brien will finish it. But again, the creativity in all of that was wonderful from Leigh. Game 200. For the coach Adrian Lamb tonight, and that will be one of the best tries he's seen.
So much to like about this. Well, first of all, Ben McNamara, first meaningful contribution is a deft touch. Myler Hanley is some player. Both sides of the ball are just a real threat. And then the third piece of this jigsaw, the try scorer. Gareth O'Brien started the game in the halves. He's moved mid-game to fullback. And again, his first touch in attack from fullback results in a try, and the coach is delighted with the return. The first visit that they've had to the red zone, they come away with points. Well done, boys, Adrian Lamb said. But look at that, you've had an unexpected change, you've had personnel, positional changes, and everybody has just fallen into a role and executed brilliantly.
There is some character about this Leigh side this season, of course. And it's not that long ago. We perhaps are guilty of forgetting this. Not that long ago, they were a championship side. And yet, year on year, ever since returning to the big time, they have been challenging for silverware. And the challenge goes on. O'Brien's kick is wide. Couldn't add the 2 to his 4. But at 24 points to 14, Leigh back in the game.
But take a look at the kick. It's brilliant. It just allows Hanley to run onto it. Doesn't have to break stride. It's a great take. That pass. Oh, again, thrown on spec. He's not even looking. That's a great kick. Take a look at the pass. He's not even looking where this is going. Takes a peek, but has to throw blind to Gareth O'Brien, who's in support. Right place, right time. Game back on. Just maybe a shrug there. Myler Hanley, because Gareth O'Brien couldn't tack on the extra 2. That's 2 missed conversions now, isn't it, from Leigh?
But with or without those 2 points, it's a 2-score game. 10 points the difference between them now, so 2 tries, 2 goals gets Leigh back in the lead. Responding again to the late setback in the first half with an early push through in the second. Owen Trout on his travels again, picks himself up amidst 4 defenders. Ipape goes off, he's got support, but the cover is good. Closing things down on O'Neill. Ipape again springing. They are gathering some yards in this set, already up to the halfway.
Oh, Leeds are still in the sheds here. I think they've been caught cold.
Now they go left, the ball over the top, over the head of Hall. And McIntosh pushes 1 away, pushes 2 away. Such is back down the middle. Tossing them away like rag dolls for a moment. And Leigh back in great position. Lamb with a footwork, stepping. Tessignew will bring it back to the middle with a pass to Ipape. Ipape has a look. Hanley maybe anticipating a kick. Ipape gets it away to Trout. Trout now spins it off a couple of defenders and tries to push his head through the gap. Last play. Ipape The dummy run ahead of Lamb. Lamb with a short pass. There's not a lot on here for Tessignou. He'll have to make something up as he goes. The kick is too strong. And they just lost their way a little on that last play.
Yeah, and Adrian Lamb this time, because Daniel McIntosh is getting treatment on the left wing, so there was nowhere for Tessignou to go, and now
Ryan Hall goes charging away. Oh, just a touch by Holton. Ankles on him, but Hall picks himself up and carries it on. And now it comes back to Newman. Newman, well, there was a push off out of play on Lockie Miller there, but the referee says play on.
if you can have a try saver 40 metres out, you just saw one there from Holton.
This is Croft. Now it's with Connor. Slow, quick, slow from Connor. And away to O'Connor. And O'Connor right to the line. Callum Watkins picks the line, picks the angle. But defenders desperately scrambling, hauling him short. O'Connor again, spinning it out. Smith with a short pass. Lissoni's going nowhere because Leigh's defence responds as it should. O'Connor again. Switches it out to Croft. I think Jake Connor wanted that ball desperately. Lockie Miller's just stopped before he starts. Couple of plays to go in the set though. Plenty of tackles left here for them to continue to build. Leigh back on their own goal line. Another wave of attack comes, and Connor goes out. Connor goes out a dummy half. I don't think he's got that down. No. Referee's in great position, points him back to the 10 metres.
Yeah,
and
Trout.
says, go again, Jared.
Yeah, Trout had to be good, and finished off up top as well by Ethan O'Neill.
So this is the last play in the set. Smith puts it back. Croft switches it to the full-back, whose kick is half deflected by McNamara, dropped on by Hanley, and Leigh can breathe a big sigh of relief because they're back in possession. Let's go to Jenna Brooks, who's got news. Jenna.
Yeah, we've seen a response from this Leigh Leopard side, haven't we, after the break? I just spoke to Adrian Lamb. I missed him at half-time, and I just said, what was the message? He said that two things. He wanted his players to tighten up in defence, and he wanted them to keep moving on plays. That you've seen both.
Oh, Lachlan Lamb's gone very, very early with that kick away. It's not a 20-40 and it's not a 40-20. It's somewhere betwixt and between. So it will be Leeds who get it back here.
Yeah, it was just a metre or so outside the 20, so he was then hoping for a better bounce of the ball. But having caught Leeds cold coming out for the second half, they were very close to crossing for two tries. They got one in the bag, and then they've had to really ride a storm from the Rhinos who've answered in kind. There's two really key defensive efforts there by Frankie Holton, wasn't there? The pick of those, that ankle tap on a flying Ryan Hall.
Yeah. So Leeds muscling their way back and just beyond the halfway line. All the way down. Jared O'Connor waits. Smith's to his left, to his right, but it's Watkins left the way he goes. Free plays for Leeds to try and conjure something up again now. Connor drops it back for Cameron Smith. O'Connor. Connor. Flat pass, but Leigh are up to that. No real challenge on that occasion. So this is the last play. Oledzki heeling it back. Croft. And now it's with Miller, who sticks it high in the air. O'Brien's underneath it. The ball's batted back. Gift again for Leeds. Well, there might be an injury there as well. I think Newman might have hurt himself in scoring, but the try has been given. And Leeds are back with a bit of a comfort zone.
And it's the decision just to run on the last tackle. Yes, it ended with a kick, but Croft decided he was going to take the line on. He found a second opportunity in the shape of Lockie Miller to get the kick away. And then, well, the Leigh Leopards, you could accuse them of not being positive enough here. First of all, the decision to run, and then the second option for a kick. I mean, I think someone's got to get up for that, and it's allowed Ryan Hall a free pat of the ball. It goes back to Harry Newman, and he scores in the corner, but you have your time again, and you're thinking, Gareth O'Brien, you've just got to roll the dice there. You've got to get up, you've got to take the ball, and if you end up in touch, then come what may, because at least you live to fight another set in defence. As it was a clear run for Ryan Hall. grounded by Harry Newman, and he looks okay to continue as well. There was a moment of concern, wasn't there, for Leeds fans immediately after he scored, but he picks up his second of the evening.
Yeah, 2 tries in 11 minutes of game time for Harry Newman, one just before the break, and then that. And Leeds just settling themselves down a little, 28-14 now. Back with that 3-score lead. And back to the point of Leigh desperately needing to score next. But there's plenty of time in the game, 28.5 minutes. So Connor, picture of concentration. Man of steel, leaderboard leader at the moment. It all goes behind closed doors after this week, so we can only guess from here on into the end of the season. And that looks good. Oh, it is good. It is good. 30 points to 14 is the lead. Well, just a reminder to Warren Nickout, who was our guest at half-time, and if you enjoyed that, you can hear plenty of more from him. He's a guest on the Bench podcast. In a couple of weeks' time, that gets uploaded with Jenna and John, and I promise you, that is a fascinating listen. O'Brien restarts. Test of Leigh's character here, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, I still don't think the game's done. I think it was a disappointing try to concede, I think, from Leigh. Probably a little soft, actually.
Massive, as we again, as the point was being made in the build-up tonight. Such a massive period for Leigh this season in this next few weeks. Back at home for a match against Wigan next week, and then Hull KR at home the week after. But that period starts tonight, and they need a response here.
Lockie Miller, he back to his effusive self, isn't he? He's past 200 metres now.
Oh, Watkins sliding through from the corner. Oh, what a dummy! What a dummy! Ghosting past the fullback. It deserves that type of celebration. He's back where it all started, on Headingley turf, and I tell you what, he's back to his best.
One of the best we've seen in Super League. Callum Watkins, game number 401, try number 5, his second of the evening. He kicked off the scoring for the Leeds Rhinos in the 6th minute. It's a brilliantly cushioned ball, a stop goal from Jake Connor, and then the dummy, the audacious dummy, Lockie Miller looming up in support. And take a look at the pass here from Jake Connor. It's just a little stop-go, break, stop, sucks in Ben McNamara, Watkins into space. Oh, that's cheeky, that's really cheeky. Take a bow, Callum Watkins.
They're enjoying this on the big screen, by the way. There you go. Every time he dummies, every time it's replayed, the South Stand cheers in jubilation.
Yeah, they're in full throat beneath our commentary position out there. The drum's going, the fans are going, they're in party mode now. And is that the try that breaks the heart of the Leigh Leopards? The South Stand absolutely packed beneath us. And it was an audacious dummy, wasn't it?
Well, you saw that stat there, Dream Team member in 14 and 15, and here we are, 10, 11 years later. Callum Watkins is still writing quite a story. He's back in dreamland. Meantime, Jake Connor settles himself and puts it over. 36 points to 14. There's an argument to say this is possibly Leeds' best performance of the season.
Yeah, and look, Jake Connor once again, that's his second try assist of the evening. He's a perfect 5 from 5 from the boot, but that'll be on the highlight reel. When Callum Watkins does hang up the boots, when he does eventually retire and stop terrorising opposition defences, that one will be played again and again for anybody who would care to watch. And why not? Look at the smile on his face. He enjoyed that one.
Oh, that's too short. It's almost in reverse. It is in reverse. Well, there are short kickoffs, and then there's this. And it's a penalty for Leeds back on the halfway line. The mood that Leeds are in here, he knows, that coach knows, that this could get just a little bit difficult from here on in. It could get very untidy.
Yeah, it could unravel quickly, and also for Leigh, they don't enjoy a massive positive points difference, plus 39 coming into this game. That could be wiped out here this evening.
Oh, that's untidy. So they keep it just about. O'Connor. This is Ryan Hall. Back inside for Oledsky. Big push from him. Leigh have done it tough tonight. They lost David Armstrong in the first half. I think we might have news of another player who's disappeared for the night in a moment. Callum Walker's looking for a hat-trick, gets the ball away, and Holroyd, well, he's over the line, but has he got it down? I'm not sure he has, because Lee's spirit remains intact. But there's more to come. Smith now. Defenders had advanced to his left-hand side. Switches back right. Croft kicks. Nobody's chasing apart from him. And cool as you like, Tessinu lets it roll out of play.
Yeah, Tessinu, who's moved on to the wing. So I think maybe there's been an injury to another outside back. We think it's Darnell McIntosh. Maybe Jenna can confirm that for us. I know he was receiving treatment during the Ryan Hall break earlier in the game, and he's succumbed to injury as well, Dave. Bad evening for the Leigh Leopards, not just for tonight, but for weeks to come.
Bailey Hodgson, 18th man tonight. If he'd been on the bench, we'd certainly be seeing him. Oh, and there's still an opportunity at Tessinu on that left-hand side. But a great recovery tackle coming in. Newman, and a bit of afters as well between the two. They weren't celebrating each other's company on that occasion. As Offengawi offloads. Ipape. Davis off the bench on the field. McNamara again. A spin by Liu. More than a handful in the first half when he scored, but this time can't go the distance. Davis, another set of 6 here for Leigh. So Davis might as well have a little look out of dummy half, because there are 5 plays to go on the back of this. Ipape. Liu. Dummy and go. But attracting the attentions of 4 Leeds defenders at one point in that carry. Ipape. And Offengawi goes, flying in, lost the ball as he tried to twist. O'Connor picks it up. Leeds have it back. Leigh threw their very best at that Leeds defence, but it remains intact.
Well,
has the referee given a ball steal here? I think
this has been challenged, you know. I think they're going to challenge that there has been a ball steal.
They can't challenge because he didn't make a decision.
I think, did they not deliberately stop play in order that a challenge could take place? And I think that's what's happening.
Time off.
Well, the rights of wrongs of this, they have gone for a challenge.
Leigh are challenging the on-field decision of a knock-on.
Well, he's given a knock-on, so that's what they're challenging. Let's hear from the video referee.
As a prior breach as well, if he's stood in the line.
OK, we have a captain's challenge. Leigh are challenging the decision of a knock-on. If we could just take it back, please. If we could go to camera 5, please, and just take it back on this angle. Just want to check that there's no prior breach. If we just keep running it back. OK, a play from here now. OK, Leo has played the ball and stood still. O'Connor's dropped the line, so there's no obstruction. So we now run it through to how the ball comes out. I think if we stay on that angle, please. OK, if we just stay on this angle, then we'll see what we get. OK. Is the ball stolen, or is he wriggling to try and get himself free? OK, just take it back on this, please. All right. The player is in possession. There is no pulling action on the ball. He's trying to move his body to get close to the try line to be able to score a try. The ball comes out as part of that movement. There is no pull by any of the Leeds players. It is challenge unsuccessful.
Thank you, mate.
Well, challenge unsuccessful. Just to repeat, I'm not sure whether they were actually allowed to challenge there, but anyway, doesn't matter because it is unsuccessful.
I think they actually laid on to force the referee to stop the clock. They were prepared to concede a penalty there. But I actually thought there was an obstruction in there, by the way. I thought Isaac Liu was impeding Jared O'Connor. Jared O'Connor not able to make a tackle. And there is hands on the ball, but as Chris Kendall said, no riffing, no reefing motion.
Offengo is clearly trying to twist the body round to try and score the try, wasn't he? So more frustration for Adrian Lamb. Jenna Brooks, what news on the touchline?
Yeah, I can tell you things seem to be going from bad to worse for Leigh after the break. David Armstrong, their fullback, did not return with a knee injury. And as you saw it before, Darnell McIntosh is now sat behind me. He's got ice on his right knee. He's very, very unlikely to return.
Yeah, he's not coming back, is he? Leigh coming back into the game. 20 minutes to play. 36-14. Leigh needing to score soon. Hull KR have scored. 24 points to 10. They now lead Wakefield. In the meantime, back here, Ash Handley is travelling all the way to the halfway line. And Miller picks up. Connor spinning it out. Smith now. Here's Croft, who decides he can get the better of that oncoming Leigh defence, but Ipape begs to differ. Oledzki hitting hard and making some yards. Don't the South Stand love that effort? O'Connor, Smith, Croft now. It's the last play, this, by the way, which they've been reminded of by the referee. Jake Connor puts the kick through, picked up safely enough from Keenan Brand. Can he find any kind of weakness in that oncoming Leeds defence? No, he can't.
No, Cam Smith just bided his time, didn't he? Kept his feet underneath him and wrapped up Keenan Brand. Tessie New now trying to barnstorm his way through the line. Very nearly does.
Reminder down below there of all the action that's coming up both in the NRL and the Betfred Super League over this weekend. Some cracking games to look forward to as well over this weekend. The league table has taken shape, is sometimes misshapen. Here's Keenan Brand looking for the outside, but enough done by Edgell, but he took him high. So it is a penalty for Leigh.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah, Edgell got him round the ears on this one. It's a reaching tackle, just goes up over the shoulder. It is a high tackle and nothing more, but Leigh get the chance to reset here. I still think they look dangerous, you know, when they get in position. I think the setup is really good. It's just whether there's enough time on the clock with a quarter of the game to go to overhaul this points difference now.
Some selection that as well, wasn't it? Edgell in, Riley Lum left out.
Very brave decision.
We're told no injury situation.
Yeah,
it is a selection choice there.
He was your top try scorer for the Leeds Rhinos as well.
And you've given Edgell's efforts in the first half. You can't argue about him being involved with his very nearly try. This is Isaac Liu for Leigh. Ipape. They're angled left and right. Off a Hengawi. Flicks it away. Ipape carries it on. Can't see anything left. Comes back right. Now McNamara. Holds him with a little leap and a catch. And again a decent carry. Putting Leigh on the front foot. Lachlan now. McNamara. O'Brien goes wide and Keenan Brand with the opportunity. Oh, what a finish, what a pass from O'Brien. What a finish from Keenan Brand. Leigh might just be back in business. That's what they needed. That's what they've got.
And take a look at the pass selection here from Lachlan Lamb. Straight early ball to McNamara and then the cutout ball from Gareth O'Brien. And they've been guilty at times of overplaying. I think sometimes you just get the ball to space. Lamb goes, right, I'm going to give it to a person in a better position than me. It's a lovely ball back from McNamara and the cutout ball from Gareth O'Brien is first class. Keenan Brand crosses for his second. Lamb with a round of applause. And they've underlined that fact again, that they are, when in position, very dangerous, very competent, very capable. The Leeds Rhinos can't pull up stumps here.
They have to finish strong tonight, Leigh, don't they? Whether they get back into a winning position, they just have to finish strong to give them plenty of heart and confidence going into some big games over the next few weeks. And the man who created it has kicked the goal. 36 points to 20. And it's a maybe, just maybe moment we've reached here.
And this is the Leigh DNA. This is falling to shape. Players in motion. Everybody knows their job. And then good pass selection. Early ball from Lamb. Smart ball from McNamara. Brilliant cut-out ball from O'Brien.
Point a minute for Leigh would be enough to take us to golden point. We're a long way off talking about that. Before the game, John Wilkins suggested that might be where we're going. Who knows? He might be right.
Well, you said Leigh needs to finish strong, whatever the outcome. I actually think Leeds can't stop. They can't put the cue in the rack because this Leigh side is good enough to embarrass them if they do that.
Similar looking stats for both sides. McNamara can't hold the pass from Ipape. Picked up instead by Edgell. And Leeds, with 6 plays to go, find themselves in a splendid position. Ledsky backing into it.
Yeah, McNamara just couldn't quite get control of that ball, could he?
Another set as well as Cameron Smith, just threatening to make mincemeat of that Leigh defence. O'Connor, Croft. And they're holding firm at the moment of the Leopards, but there's plenty more to come where that came from. O'Connor, the short one, and O'Reilly bursts his way over while he's celebrating with confidence. He'll have to put a hole in it in a moment. Potential obstruction is what they're looking at. So back we go to Chris Kendall, the video referee.
OK, we have a live call of try. We're checking for a possible obstruction in the build-up. If we go on from this point, please. OK, the Leeds player stands his ground. He doesn't have to move. Just run it back on this angle, please. The Leeds player can't disappear. Let's look at the Leigh player. OK, the Leigh player... If we just go to camera 11, please. Just take it back now, please. OK, just go nice, just go slow at this point, OK? So, the Leigh player has already initiated the contact on the Leeds man. Just run it back again, please. So the Leeds player plays the ball, he doesn't have to disappear. Holton then goes and initiates the contact. OK, so we can run on from this point, please. Can run on to this point, to the grounding, please. Can we just get a tightened version of the grounding, please? And that's a try. I viewed the angle I need, I've made my decision.
Well, I think Brad Arthur was saying something similar to the video referee there, wasn't he? I think he was frustrated that it might have been ruled out, but he'll be happy that it hasn't been ruled out because the big screen will deliver the decision. And it is a try, and it is probably a match-clinching moment. Holroyd the scorer, Leeds up to 40, kick to come. It's been a night of pure joy for them so far tonight.
Yeah, well, it's going to be the try that finishes it off, but yeah, I'm not sure about this, you know. I mean, yeah, I get that the guy playing the ball can't disappear, but equally, Leeds can't use him as a shield. And, you know, as for Frankie Holton initiating contact, he's not trying to initiate contact with the wrong player. He's trying to get out to make a tackle on Holroyd. I don't know about that. I don't. I understand that the McDonald cannot disappear, but equally, I don't think they can use them as shields to evade being tackled. But look, hey, called a try on field, confirmed by the video referee. Tom Holroyd gets a well-earned rest, and I think that's the try that really finishes this game as a contest.
One of the many ex-Siddle players knocking around. Jake Connor could have been, but he's Ovenden, wasn't he? Same town, different club. (40-20) at the moment, and they will get the ball back. But they'll be hoping it's 42-20 when he does get the ball back. Yeah, no doubts. No doubts. 42-20. What a story we've got to write here if Leigh do make a comeback from here. But at the moment, Leeds with one of their, if not the most impressive performance of the season against genuine pedigree opposition tonight, are looking like the potential grand finalists, and we use the word potential advisedly as we build them at the early stages of the evening, just like Leigh.
Yeah, absolutely. I think on balance, Brad Arthur will, we can anticipate the post-match press conference already. He will be talking about the tries that were conceded, but he'd be really happy with that. The Leigh Leopards get the ball back. That's a great tap back, wasn't it?
And here comes Holton charging forward. Well, if there is to be a miraculous escape from this position, it has to start now.
Hold.
Ipape. Davis. Shuffling, stuttering run forward again. The footwork trying to put just demons into the heads of the defenders. But they do their job. McNamara. Lamb. Here's Hanley. Oof. Well, he slipped past a couple of defenders there, didn't he?
He's got such good footwork, hasn't he?
Jake Connor might be hurt as well. He just stumbled away from that challenge. Offahengawi now has to stop because there was an obstruction line run by Matt Davis. Ipape and Leo head down and then gives to Davis again. Davis chopped down, but one to go for Leigh. Ipape slings it back. McNamara, Lew's dropped it, but I think he's gone backwards. Hanley picks it up, spins away from Newman, still going. Zero tackle. Leeds get a touch on that.
They've got him on the right here. If they move right now, they've got him.
Well, they'll have seen that. It's a scruffy ball, but they've still got loads of numbers. O'Brien, Brand, and Brand dives in. Well, it was a lot more difficult by the finish than it looked to be before it started. But has Keenan Brand scored here? Referee is saying try on the field will be a hat-trick if this is given.
OK, we have a live call of try. It's the zero tackle. If we go slow, please. Plays in possession. He's still in possession. And the ball is grounded. I've seen all I need.
It's another of those wow moments from wingers. It looked like a walk-in as the ball was moving across, but it took a really special finish in the end to make sure.
It's a real way to signal your first ever Super League hat-trick, the second of Keenan Brand's career. And it was a brilliant finish in the corner. The Leeds have got themselves in all sorts. The line had disintegrated in terms of defensive organisation, and all Leigh had to do was find the space. They were good enough to do that. They are a really potent attacking side, the Leigh Leopards. I still feel they've probably left themselves too much to do.
18 points to difference. Sorry, 18 points to difference as it stands. And it's very nearly reduced by another couple, but it's not. So 42-24. It's a palindromic scoreline.
Yeah, it was just about outstripping the defence. They'd all been sucked in. The set restart had been given, and then the ball was picked up on the half volley by Lamb. He shovels it on to O'Brien, and O'Brien with yet another try assist puts Keenan Brand in the corner. It's a hat-trick. It looks at the moment like it's going to be in vain.
But they've given themselves hope.
Yeah, and the stats, that's a really interesting one, isn't it? The Leeds Rhinos, not great in the last 10 minutes.
Well, Leigh won't necessarily know the stats, but they will know the importance of the situation here. Still got to score plenty. It's still improbable. It still looks like Leeds' night.
Sorry, he's done well, hasn't he, Frankie Holton? I think his ball carries have been with real purpose, with a bit of venom.
Davis brings it on. Ipape springing out, getting things moving again. He gets up and plays. Ipape spins it out. Lamb now. Suddenly popping into the position is Hughes in that left centre's position because of all the chopping and changing they've had to do with injuries to McIntosh and Armstrong. So they've done it tough tonight, Leigh. McNamara pops in, and a kick. Oh, it's an awkward bounce, and Pape just getting a hand on that, giving a little bit of hope, but can't keep it under control.
He was supporting as a potential pass option on the inside. Yeah, you could see he tried to tap it up, but the ball's just got away from him. He's claiming there that Lockie Miller has tackled him without the ball. The referee's having none of it. Turnover. They're not going to die wondering, are they, the Leigh Leopards?
Well, the game tonight, Hawkins to Rovers finally putting a bit of distance between them and Wakefield. It says that Wakefield have put a real show on tonight. But as the game moves towards its late stages, OK are on course for yet another win at the top of the tree. What is it, 6 points clear now? But Wigan, of course, with a game to come. They play Cass tomorrow. Another game you can see live on Sky Sports. Oh, this is Miller. Dodging and weaving. Here's Sinfield. Watkins. Newman. Crofts made the run. Pape saw that. Made his move. Newman. Smith. Miller drills it out to that left-hand side for Newman to have a go. McNamara. That's Sinfield, rather. Mixing up the kids of the lads, of the legends. High, and O'Brien underneath there. But that's a super take, and Alensky could not believe what was in front of him. An open space in which to score. Any faint glimmers of a Leigh comeback put out of mind conclusively now. And a big smile from the Polish-born England international.
It's Croft with the kick. Jake Connor, third try assist. One pass, one kick, one catch, an offload to Alensky. Jake Connor was tasked by Brad Arthur when he came to this club to concentrate on the detail, to stay engaged in games, to not drift in and out. We knew he had the talent. It's those small effort areas like we've seen just here. The kick chase, the committed take, and then being able to find yet another try assist, this time in the shape of Mikael Alensky, which means he's having the season of his career, Jake Connor.
Well, what a night to pile on the points for Leeds. Most points they've scored all year. Alensky goes off, but the biggest win of the season for the Leeds Rhinos here. 46 at the moment. Potentially more to come. He's demanded this 80 minutes performance, hasn't he? And suggested it's as close as he's come since his arrival at Headingley.
Back on.
Connor puts it over, and a big win is turning into a statement win from the Leeds Rhinos. 48-24.
And that is the word, isn't it? Statement. Croft with the bomb, the chase, and the catch from Connor, and then Alensky in support. And on the flip side, as the Leeds Rhinos rack up the points, a thought for Leigh Leopards and their points difference. They've all but 5 of them now been wiped out. They came into this round plus 29. They've had 24 as it stands. What knocked off that total? I do have the feeling in the last 2 or 3 seasons, Dave, league positions have been decided on points difference, and that may well be something that comes back to haunt them later in the season.
Well, earlier this week, on the other side of that big stand opposite tonight, they were chasing half-centuries and centuries, weren't they, batsmen from England and India? And tonight, it's Leeds Rhinos who are chasing a half-century. 2 points short of that. 3rd against 4th, remember this. That is the statement of it. Leigh have had their troubles, their travails through injury tonight. But with or without that factor, Leeds have still produced mightily. McNamara chase down. Oh, he's found a gap here. And McNamara goes skipping off. Brands on his left, puts a kick back in the middle. It's a beautifully weighted kick as well for a Myler Hanley to finish. They ain't going to win the game, but they are going to go down fighting here, Leigh. The scoreline just racks up.
Well, I make that 8 tries to 6 now. I mean, it's ridiculous. The goal kicking is clearly, that's ballooned the score for Leeds. But take a look at Cam Smith, comes out of the line here in defence against Ben McNamara, opens up a corridor into the backfield. I think this is really smart, sums up the space. He's got lucky, but they closed him down. He knows there's room in behind him. I'll say it again, I'm labouring a point here. And the Leopards are not going to take competition points tonight. But everybody else in Super League needs to be on notice. This team is never dead, and they are ruthless, deadly when in position. It doesn't matter who they've got on the field or who's missing or the reshuffles they've had to endure during a game. They know how to score points.
Well, if you told him before the night began that your team would come to Headingley and score 30 points, I think he'd have taken that. But in the circumstances, that's the kind of face that greets the scoreline. And this is what's coming up. Wigan, the champions-elect, or the champions as it is, I should say, and then Hull KR, and then Saints away, and then Warrington, and then Leeds again. So it is a hugely testing 5 weeks or so for Leigh after this. And if they come through that with a flag flying, then you really do have to take them seriously as a grand final prospect. But there's some ifs and buts to be answered before that. Off for Hengawi, no loop pass. Hughes tries to flick. They're just trying desperate stuff now because of the situation they're in.
Leigh ball comes off Leeds.
Yes, this has come off a Leeds hand, so this is going to be another set of 6 for Leigh. I mean, it's going to be too little too late, isn't it? Yeah, it was Brodie Croft, it came. It was attempted offload from Jack Hughes off the hands of Brodie Croft, so another set of 6 for Leigh. There's 3.5 minutes left. This will be a Leigh victory.
There'll be moments in this game that Adrian Lamb will look back on and say, well, we should have been better there, we should have been better there. But they haven't waved the white flag at any point, have they? They have every encouragement by Leeds' progress to just say, well, we ain't going to win tonight. But they've kept fighting back in this match.
Yeah, they have. I think they've been excellent with the ball. It's just, unfortunately for them, you made the point, come to Headingley and score 30 points. Well, that should win you most games, not when your defence has dished up what it has. This is a late shot. Palacia hits Lachlan Lamb off the ball. So will Leigh have the final say?
Well, the drums are beating on the south stand, and they are potentially sending out a message to the rest of Super League. Hull KR and Wigan have certainly been the market leaders in 2025, but Leeds suggesting that they could be on a run here that may, just may, take them to Old Trafford. Nobody will be getting carried away with themselves, but they've done what they needed to do tonight, and they've done it with some flair. Liu to Lamb. Lamb looking left. Hughes with a quick-handed attempt. Throws it behind Tessignew and out of play wastefully for Leeds to get the ball back.
Yeah, it looked tough one, that. Really tough one. He's a back row playing in the centre, and he's not got many reps in that position. And it's got to be a Myler Hanley quality catch and pass, and he just gets too much on it. Overcooks the ball over the top of Tessignew. And I think you're looking at the last attacking threat fizzle out for the Leigh Leopards.
Cooper Jenkins with a carry. Sinfield picks up. Smith. Here's Lissoni. Watkins. Lissoni just gives it back to Cam Smith and says, you have a go. Into the final minute. Sinfield shifting it out. Connor now, and this is the fullback Miller. Fancies another look, fancies another go, and then opposite off, and Lissoni is running hard and running well. He's lost the ball, it's picked up though by Hanley, and Hanley tries the kick, it hits bodies. Leigh get it back. Leigh get it back, and they want to play with it. They want to play with it from deep inside their own 10.
That's a lovely piece of interplay between the two middle forwards, Cooper Jenkins and Sam Lissoni. And I think the South Stand were willing Lissoni to the line, but the Leopards hung on, didn't they?
The hooter sounds on what has been a terrific performance from Brad Arthur's side. They leapfrog Leigh into third position on the back of this win. They've made a statement, a huge statement here in Headingley tonight. Leigh have been very much second best, but Leeds are travelling well just at the moment, putting the wrongs of St Helens last week well and truly behind them, and a big win, a big win. 48 points to 30. They have beaten the Leigh Leopards.
Dave, John, thank you very much. Yes, Brad Arthur emphasised the importance of bouncing back from defeat at St Helens. Leigh, of course, jumped up into third spot, taking advantage of Leeds' slip. But it's now the Rhinos who go into third and move to just behind the reigning champions, the Wigan Warriors, in second. The table, of course, still headed by Home Kingston.